How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Above Average podcast, where we talk to people that are above average in mindset and action. Today, we have Will and a special guest, Tanner, who might have been seen on television once or twice and has been doing a lot of interesting entrepreneurship ventures in the past in fitness and with a new brand that he has been evolving over the last couple of years. So super interesting to talk about today. Tanner, welcome to the podcast, man.
Thanks, boys. It's been a while since we all sat down and talked. This is super cool.
It has been a while.
Yeah, it has.
Say that.
So we all met each other before anything that we've been doing currently has been happening realistically. I mean, you guys were working together, correct?
6-7 years ago, working in a gym, fitness.
2019.
2019. Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Southside. Yep.
Yep. 3-minute fitness, teaching classes, working out, doing curls.
A lot of curls.
A lot of curls in the
mirror. A lot of curls done back then. Yeah.
A lot of bro lifts. I think we all went through our phase of bro lifts, and we still do arm days every once in a while. We're like, hey man, let's just crush arms for a good half an hour.
I like to throw it in there when I don't feel like being at the gym. It's like, I don't really want to work hard today, so let's just do some curls and feel good about ourselves.
That's all you need.
And then check the box. Like, I went to the gym, and then we can do whatever we want the rest of the day.
Yep.
Yeah. Exactly. So we had all met and caught up semi-recently, but we've all kind of diverged down our paths. Pre and post COVID times are totally different, and I feel like you guys still kind of work in a similar vein, but you're both doing your own thing, which is like fascinating to me, because when we all met, you guys were at the same place, and I was so blessed when I talked to Becca and I got introduced to all you guys at one time, because I just moved here.
Yeah.
And so that was really cool for me to come down and see a community that was already built, and I was like, dang. And then COVID happened and people just started leaving and things changed, and it was just kind of a crazy start there.
Yeah.
But
there's that picture of us for your clothing brand.
Clothing brand.
That's right.
Two of us. The two of us together. Yeah. And that was probably when we actually officially met, because you were coaching the night classes. We didn't see each other that often.
Mm-mm.
And then we did that shoot that day, and then kind of from there, right? Things just kind of branched.
Mm-hmm.
So since then, you were on a television show recently, so I definitely want to acknowledge the fact that I think some people might have seen you from there, and others might know you from Pittsburgh. So I think that's interesting, because we want to know kind of how that changes happen here, because Pittsburgh's kind of a small town in a lot of ways, where people knew you before and probably see you out now. So
it's weird. Yeah.
How's that changed?
Well, the one thing, it's oh, you're Tanner from Bachelor in Paradise. I'm like, well, I'm Tanner from Pittsburgh. I'm just a normal guy that happened to go on 2 TV shows in a span of 3 months. So it's been a whirlwind, but it's life's back to normal now. I'm back living in Pittsburgh. I started my brand Future Self back in 2022, so that's going well now. So it's just kind of getting back into the swing of things, and life's pretty much back to normal now. But it was crazy when we were all working at 3 Minute Fitness in 2019. I kind of stopped fitness for a little bit, and I worked in sales for insurance company, software sales company, then got into mortgage sales. And I was always kind of doing fitness part-time. And then, last October, I quit my mortgage job and started doing fitness full-time. So it's been a fun year. Yeah, it's been
a very eventful year for you.
For sure. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, just kissing girls on TV.
So without diving into a ton of detail about the show, what was the interest to go on the show kind of in the first place? Where did that spawn from? Was it your friends telling you, hey man, you should just go apply? Or was it
I didn't really think I would ever do it, to be honest. I went through a breakup July 2022, and I was single for a little bit, and just looking for a change. And then honestly, the opportunity just kind of came because my brother signed me up, and he didn't tell me he was going to sign me up, but he did. So, it's crazy. I was filming a workout series for Walk It Home and in Chicago, and I got a random text from my phone. We were on a break, and I looked, and it was a text from a ABC producer. And, you don't never know if that stuff's real or not, but it seemed legit. It seemed like it came from a California area code. So I called her on my break, and they're like, yeah, this is legit. If you're interested, someone submitted you anonymously, and I'm like, it was definitely my brother. I know for sure it was. So, I took the initial call, and then one thing led to another, and I told myself, not to bring up Future Self again, but it's one of those things, once they sent me the contract, and there's a lot of stages to get on. There's 10 interviews, and you have to meet them in person, you have to go stay in a hotel, you take a psychological exam, all that stuff. But once they send you the contract, then you have a decision to make, right? So I told myself, I'm going to go through the entire process. If I get to the end and they send me the contract, then I'll decide if it's something I want to do.
Right, yeah.
And then, because I was already kind of working on my brand future self, I'm always thinking about 10, 20, 30, 40 years down the line of what my life's going to look like. And at the end of the day, I think my future self would have regretted not taking this opportunity to go do something cool and different and meet people and travel. And it's stuff that I love to do. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just go dive into this and see what happens. So
it's you got hit up, or sorry, your brother put you in, and then you got hit up through that. And what's interesting is I got, and I'm not gonna say what show it was, but I got reached out to for a show, and I thought it was fake.
Yeah,
I thought it was a joke. I don't want to put the name out of the show and the way that they reached out to me. Yeah, okay. I think I could say it. I don't think there's like a repercussion. The show Fuckboy Island.
Oh, geez, yeah.
I've never heard of it, and this is when it had just came out, or I don't even know if it came out yet.
People watch it. People love that show.
Yeah.
I still have no idea what it is, but somebody messaged me and said, "We want you to go on the show." And they said the name of it, and I was like, "This isn't real."
Yeah.
So I thought it was a joke. So like I showed some people and stuff.
For the show name,
they came back to me and said, "Oh no, this is like a real producer. This is like a real offer." I'm like, "Oh no, I'm good. Like I have a girlfriend. Things are all good right now for me." So it was just like the timing of it. I was like, one, I thought it was fake, but it actually had happened. So I was like, wow, that was very random. But unless somebody submitted me, I don't know how that show works. But
gotcha.
The casting of that show, I have no idea.
Well, that's how a lot of the producers find people. They just DM random guys they see on Instagram that think they might be good on the show, and a lot of times it works out. I mean, a lot of guys that I was on the Bachelorette with just got a DM from like Joey Grazade, who was on. He was the newest Bachelor. He just got a random DM on Instagram. He's living in Hawaii. He's teaching tennis, playing golf, and he gets a DM on Instagram, and
that's exactly,
life is completely different.
That's exactly where I was at with that. That's where it came from, and I was like, "This isn't real life. It's not real."
Yeah.
I have a question for you, and it's also the same question for you in some sense. What show would you be on if you had to be on a show? Any show. So I'm just gonna say it doesn't have to be like dating show. It could be any show.
Top of my head right away is American Ninja Warrior.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Get him on this. How do we get you on this show?
So a couple years ago, me and Becca went to, there's a Ninja Warrior gym in West Mifflin.
Yeah.
And they have people on
I remember
there.
you posting content.
Yeah, they have people on there that have been trying. And that's an interesting show because they have an open like tryout, I guess, where you have to get yourself there, and then you just run the course, and then if you qualify, then you're on like the actual show. And I'd never done anything like that before, and I was just kind of like going bar to bar, flinging myself around, and I was like, I could probably do this. I mean, it is a sport like CrossFit, like there's a skill level to it where you have to game it. But yeah, no, I mean, I think that would be cool.
I think you'd be good at it.
Thanks, dude.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
That's a good pick. I had told him this on the phone the other day. I said the show that I'd want to be on is Survivor, like hands down, because it's like
being on that show
for sure.
It's
you would win.
Yeah,
they would not want you on the show. They're like, no, it's too obvious.
Yeah, it's too easy. Too easy.
Oh, I wish it was that easy, but I know what happens when people get tired and they're out in the cold and they don't have food. They start getting crabby and certain things happen.
Yeah,
I'm very aware of that because I've done that. But that's partially why I want to go on the show is like, I'm like, oh, okay, I've embraced suck. So that part I know I could conquer. Yeah. But the social aspect and the physical stuff,
and
I'm like, the whole thing.
Do you want everyone to know your strengths on the show? Like, do you go in there and tell people that you're in the Army and like you can do all this stuff? Right?
Yes. I mean, like, I personally wouldn't.
Right.
Like, I wouldn't say anything about that.
Yeah.
I would come in under the radar.
You play dumb.
Yeah.
You just make it to the end.
Yeah. Dude, you have to go another level now. You got to get you out there with Bear Grylls or some shit, fighting a bear.
Yeah.
Well, I think the thought of the show Survivor is because I feel like that show is going to come to an end eventually because it's on like season 46, and I'm like, just the legacy of that show.
People still watch it,
dude. It's still so good.
Unless what's his name, Jeff. If Jeff's still running the show there, it's probably going to keep going.
He's the best. I just would love to meet Jeff. I think he's going to be my godfather for my future kids. I'm just like already going to put that out there for him.
I love
it. So that was my show pick, but that was a close second though. For me, it was either that or like Physical 100. That's also a cool one, but I don't know if they'll have an American season of that. But I saw that show the other day, and I was like, "Oh, that show is sweet."
Yeah, Special Forces would be mine. It seemed
really.
Have you seen that show?
Yes,
it's on
new.
Fox. Yeah, a couple guys from the Bachelor franchise have gone on it, but it's basically this show where they just do like these insane tasks that like the Navy SEALs do, and I want to get tested. I want to be humbled. I want to get thrown in the fire, and obviously, like I love fitness and everything like that. So I feel like that would be a really, really cool show.
Yeah.
That teamwork element to it
cool.
too.
Hell yeah. Do you guys want to have a gut check? That's probably the one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. But so what happened, during the show, after the show, like what was your whole experience like? And I liked what you had told me on the phone when we had talked. So I definitely want to hear some parts that you had expressed where it was changing in a good way, but it was your response to me was kind of unexpected about the show, actually. So if you want to dive into kind of like what you had learned, I mean, you talked a lot about the fact that you were being cut away from social media and all these other things that
was
really
the best part.
Such a reflection time.
100%. So as soon as you get there, I mean, obviously there's no phones, there's no TV, there's no music. So you're forced to really connect with people on a deep emotional level because there's nothing else to do, right? It's like you're forced to sit across the table from like the Bachelorette charity, you guys get to really meet and see each other for who they are, but also I'm surrounded by 20 guys too, right? So we're each other's entertainment, right? We're the TV, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But it's I mean that was my favorite part, is being fully disconnected from the outside world and being fully present, because when else in my adult life am I not going to have my phone for a month or 2 months at a time, surrounded by people that are doing the same exact thing as me, and it was just a super positive experience for me. It was aside from it not working out with Charity, we're still friends to this day. I was just in LA with her and Dotton, her fiance. So that's all good. But I came away with it with like some of the best friends that I've ever met. Some of the best people that are ambitious, people that are vulnerable, people that are open. It was just a super cool time, and it's something I didn't expect. Right when I went on, I'm like, what kind of douchebags are going to be on this TV show, right? Am I going to be one of these douchebags? But it really wasn't. Like, everyone I met there was just super kind, super happy to be there, super grateful, and it was just sick. At the end of the day, we did some crazy dates too. I mean, I had to go on stage in a Barbie costume and sing "Girls Just Want to Have Fun." I was like, what am I getting myself into? Like, this is ridiculous. My parents are watching this. But when you're doing it with a group of guys that also see that as ridiculous, and it's like, you know what, let's just lean into this process and have fun, it was cool, right? And like, that happened to be like one of the best days of my life, just because it was just like a crazy experience, right? But post-show, I mean, everything has just been cool. I'm still close with all the guys. Like I said, I'm still close with Charity, and it was just a really cool experience. And when I got done with the first show, I was home for maybe 12 hours before I got a call to go on Bachelor in Paradise too. So I was like, you know what? Let's just jump back into this.
Run it back.
Why not? I was definitely hesitant to do it again, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to go on the show again, but there were some people I was maybe interested in, so I decided to go back on it. And again, met cool people doing a similar thing. And the second time when I got there, they're like, "You want to take your phone now?" I'm like, "Take it." Like, I throw the phone to them. I was like, "Yeah, I want to be off the grid for a little bit." So it was just cool, man. And again, it always comes back to what my future self would think, right? Is I think you would regret it if you didn't do something cool like this. Yeah. Like, why not just say yes to exciting new opportunities, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm all about.
Yeah. I think that was a good perspective to put in, the fact that you are unplugged, and it's a very unique experience because like you're unplugged, you're doing something other people don't normally do. Other people are not going to understand the takeaways. They're only going to see the cut, edited version, but being there has to be like strange going through the whole process. And then you said that it was like a short break, so you don't see the first season at all, and then you go right into the second one.
And
really?
That was the fear.
That's kind of crazy,
so I
too.
filmed this whole show not knowing what my edit was going to be like.
Oh,
right?
interesting.
You just jump right back in. So yeah, I had no idea what to expect because I filmed the first show, was home for maybe a month, filmed the second show, and then the first show aired, and then the second show aired like later that year. So it was just a crazy year. And it also it sucks to date in real life a little bit too, because you don't date leading up to the show, right? Mm-hmm. You could meet your fiance, right? Realistically, it does happen. And then you film the show, you got to wait for the show to come out because you don't want to be out there dating and ruining and spoiling everything. And then that happens again for another show that doesn't stop airing for another 6 months. So it really puts your dating life, if you're not actually seeing someone, on hold a little bit. I mean, you could do it, you could hide it, right? But it's definitely in the back of your mind where it's kind of on pause for a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
But
that's fair, but it gives you an opportunity to maybe work on something else then. Instead of in between those times, you're like, okay, I got 6 months. This is a good time to work on my brand, or this is a time to go pursue something else and
Yeah.
like take an intentional pause on the dating, knowing just kind of like the parameters you're in.
Oh, 100%.
Which is, again,
You're so right.
unique, you know?
And that's exactly what I did, right? I focused on myself and I turned it into a brand, right?
Yeah.
It's like, how can I help other people become better versions of themselves? Because I've been working on myself throughout my entire 20s, right? I got into manifestation and fitness and positive thinking and all that bullshit that's just everywhere. It's not bullshit. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
But I consume all of that content all the time. And I have been for 10 years. So I'm like, you know what? How can I take what I've learned from my 20s, my life experiences and fitness and turn it into a positive brand to help other people? So that's what I did for the past solid year behind the scenes, right? And now I'm excited to kind of release it to the world and help as many people as I can.
Yeah, yeah. So do you, this is the question that I had the entire time, but like, you mentioned like you're Tanner from Pittsburgh. And I mean, you're in the public eye outside of the show with Walk, Run, Lift, because that's broadcasted nationally.
Yeah, globally.
Right?
Yeah,
globally,
so Walk at Home is the brand, like the main company, and then Walk, Run, Lift is the studio gym that we have in
the Strip.
Pittsburgh.
Okay.
But Walk at Home, that brand is global. I mean, there's people that walk with me in Peru, in Europe, and everywhere in the world that has access to the app, has access to YouTube. I'm helping people lose hundreds of pounds just by walking, which is crazy because a lot of people just don't move enough, right? But you're right. I mean, before I went on the show, I was Tanner from Pittsburgh. And I happened to be Tanner from Walk at Home.
Yeah.
And now it's just kind of now it's just me.
Yeah. So, I mean, are you getting you're walking around around the Strip? Like, are you getting recognized by people that are just seeing you from the show rather than from, does that happen? I mean, obviously it's got to happen more often now, I would think, right?
Yeah, I mean, it just happened on the way here.
Really?
So
yeah.
It's always a positive experience. But yeah, I was on the phone with my friend Marco, and he was like cracking up because I was like, yeah, sorry, Marco, 1 second. I took a picture with I think her name was Cameron. She works at City Winery in Pittsburgh, and it was just everyone's super positive and nice. People are dicks and they're going to be rude on social media, but how often does that really happen?
Right.
Face to face?
Never.
Yeah, exactly.
Borderline never.
Yep.
So it does happen, but it's always super positive. And I don't mind. I like talking to people. I like meeting new people. And if they're excited to meet me, then I'm excited to meet them.
Yeah, that's funny, man. I was with my girlfriend. We were going to Aslan in the terminal. We walked past Walk, Run, Lift, and she's a big fan of The Bachelor, The Bachelorette. And we walked by, and she knows that we know each other. And I looked into the studio, and I saw you in there, and I was like, "Oh, Tanner's in there," and she was freaking out. She's like, "Oh my God, we got to go back. We got to go say hi." And I was like, "No, I'm not gonna fangirl. I've known this dude for 5 years. Like, you were in there, you were working." I was like, "No, it's all good." But it's different, obviously, because I know you from before, but then there's people that now only know you from.
And isn't it funny to you now that people think of me like that? Like my friends from back home, they're like, "This is ridiculous."
Yeah,
like,
it's crazy.
This guy's an idiot. It's like they know me on a different level, right?
Yeah.
But it's funny. I don't know.
Who do you fangirl over now that you've had that experience? Is there anybody that you look up to within the fitness space that, either before or after the show, but just in general? Because I think it's kind of limited. I think my mindset's limited now as I've grown up and met more people.
Right.
I think I fangirl over certain things less, and I really value very specific individuals that are really different than what I would when I was younger.
Yeah, I'd have to think about that. And throughout this process, I've met a lot of people that I've followed on Instagram or know from YouTube, and some big celebrities, right? I've met a lot of people, and what you realize right away is everyone's just a regular person.
Yeah, it's just like a normal person.
The more that happens, the more you're not going to be fangirling over anybody, because you realize as soon as you talk to them for 5 minutes, it's like, oh, they're literally just like me, or and everyone says that all the time, and it's obvious. But once you start meeting people that you have seen on social media, it's like, okay, then why am I fangirling over anybody, right? We're all trying to do our best out here. We're all trying to be good humans. Right.
It is weird. And I had that experience when I was coaching pro soccer. I mean, you're around, professional athletes in Pittsburgh, we have Division II teams. So it's not like the MLS, but still there are guys that have played with guys that are big names. And when we were in Miami, our head coach was friends with Mark Pulisic, Christian Pulisic plays for the national team. He plays for AC Milan right now. And our two coaches were over there talking to him, and they called me over and they introduced me. And I was starstruck by association. I'm talking to the guy's dad, and I was like, holy shit, this guy's he played in the Premier League, he plays in the top league in Italy now. And that was a moment where, same thing, this is someone that's been around the stuff we only see on TV, but still just a dude.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the conversations are always good too. And I feel like you guys are similar to me in the fact that we're all genuinely curious people. That's why you guys are doing a podcast.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
You like to ask
Yeah.
questions. So it's cool to like, meet somebody random that might just work a normal job and have a conversation with them. Then you can have that same conversation with a celebrity, and you realize it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. It's
Yeah.
just asking questions and being curious about other people.
Yeah. Yeah, really.
Let's just jump in and do a cheers. I forgot what question I was going to ask anyways.
Yeah.
Anyways, I got the Nipsey Blue.
That's the best one, dude. That's my favorite. I got 2 of those for a reason, because you didn't try that one last time.
I didn't try it last time, yeah.
This is unbelievable. What makes it blue?
Spinarula, or is that what it's called? It's on the top there.
Spirulina?
Yeah, whatever. However you say that word.
Spirulina? Yeah. Pineapple.
It is blue.
Cheers,
Cheers, boys. Thank you to 111. Appreciate it.
It's actually perfect because
Never miss.
111, I'm not sure why they named the brand 111, but happened to be so I made, thank you for wearing the Future Self hats. They look good. But I made sweatshirts too. And, and I have a 111 on the sleeve, which is my angel number. And basically angel numbers are the universe's way of telling you that you're on the right path. So you typically see them, and my mom kind of got me into spirituality and like all this like astrology stuff. So I've always kind of like in manifestation, I've been into that kind of stuff for like my entire life. So I enjoy it. I know a lot of people think it's weird, but it's fun to think about. But when I was, so basically that's the universe's way of telling you you're on the right path, right? So if let's say you're going on a run and you think about starting a podcast and you look at your clock and it says 111. It's like because you were thinking that, it's synced up. It's saying like that's a good thought, kind of keep going that way, right? It kind of validates your thoughts and your actions.
Interesting. Okay.
So allegedly, right? But I thought it was interesting. So real quick story. So I love this idea, and I started seeing 111 right around the time that actually was the exact day. So it was November 11th, right? Remember the day I said that I got a text from an ABC producer? So it was November 11th. 1111. They said if it's in 4s, that's like, that's even stronger, right? So I remember waking up that day and I was seeing 111 everywhere in my life. And I started my Future Self brand like behind the scenes at this time. So I was just like going down this path of like, let's just see what happens. Things feel right. Things are picking up. I was going through a breakup previously. I was kind of like on the up and up from that. And then November 11th, I'm like, I'm going to be open to like new opportunities and see what happens today. I get a text from the Bachelor. I'm like, okay, that's crazy, right? Let's kind of see what happens there.
Yeah.
And then on January 11th, they sent me the contract. So 111. So
Interesting. Okay.
And it was just showing
that is
up,
kind of crazy, actually.
and it was showing up every day too. It was like 3 or 4 times a day I would see it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? This is just crazy. So when I started my brand, I'm like, I want 111 to be somewhere around it because it speaks to me, and I know a lot of people have other angel numbers, right? So like yours might be 333, yours might be 444. It's 3 consecutive, or it's 3 of the same number.
Okay.
So it's interesting that you guys had this here. So like, we're supposed to be here.
Yeah, we are.
That's what I think. So it's it's cool.
Yeah, so I mean a synchronicity, I believe, is the psychological term for that, I think. And I have a book Carl Jung wrote the book called Synchronicities. I haven't read it yet because that dude was German. It's translated into English. It's very dense. It's like 80 pages, but I just can't do it.
Yeah.
But
we'll watch a YouTube video on
yeah,
it.
I gotta get a breakdown. Yeah. But funny you say that, because there have been, ever since I learned about that, there was a few books that I read that kept harping on that same idea of synchronicities. Like you start to see these coincidences that pop up, and part of me like the idea where if you're looking for a red car, you're always going to see a red car.
Yeah.
Like there is that aspect to it.
For sure.
But I think at the same time, like, I think there's something going on there. Something weird. I don't know. I mean, you can't explain it, but you don't have to. It doesn't matter. Like you just have to kind of like be willing and open to whatever's going to happen, and then just be a yes man, I guess, in that sense. But I had 2 experiences, not with numbers per se, but just weird coincidences that were like happening back to back to back to back. And then I was like, well, something's going on. Like I'm moving in the right direction somehow. And so I don't have it figured out numbers wise, but I know the feeling that you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling, but it's also something you just have to kind of lean into and kind of just do what feels right. But also, that can get you in trouble too, because opportunities can be disguised as distractions sometimes. So you kind of have to distinguish what is an opportunity versus what is a distraction. And for me, it's always been, what feels better, what feels more aligned with what I'm doing right now. And for me, it's been fitness recently and just going that way. So it's been exciting, and it feels like it's the right thing for me right now. So it's cool.
Yeah. So, well, I guess getting into future self, like what's on deck for that? What's the deal?
Yeah, so everything's going to be launched in May 2024. I've been working on it for, like I said, since 2022. And for me, it's really just a brand about being the best version of yourself. And, I didn't coin the term, but when we were working at 3 Minute Fitness, I was constantly saying to my class, do something now that your future self is going to thank you for. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people say that. I didn't coin the term by any means, but it's something that I kind of clung on to. And I'm obsessed with it, right? I'm constantly thinking what my future self would think, what they would feel like when I go out drinking. I know my future self is going to be pissed because I'm going to be hungover, but that's another story. But it's something about just going down that path of trying to become the best version of yourself through fitness, yes, but also in relationships and mental health and just doing things now that you're going to be proud of. And that's what the brand really stands for. But for me, I'm really excited to just kind of help people find their full potential. For me, it's been through fitness, right? And we can all kind of relate to that because it does come down to, building healthy habits and feeling good in your body so that you can do your best work, so you can be the best partner, so you can have a strong relationship, so you can live a great life, because a strong body is going to allow you to be able to do that. So I'm excited to kind of help as many people unlock that, because there's so many people out there that just are unaware of that they don't feel good, and that they could feel a lot better if they exercised every day. So, May 2024 is going to be big for me, but also for my community, because I'm launching my app where I can help people, men and women. I have 2 programs coming out for men, 2 programs coming out for women. I have a weight loss program, and I have a full on-demand library that they can follow along. So if they want to do like a 20-minute at-home workout with me, it's just watch what I do what I do. A lot of it's body weight, a lot of it's some dumbbell work, minimal equipment, because I know a lot of people don't have access to gyms. So I'm trying to help out as many people as I can. But a lot of different avenues. I'm actually filming a masterclass called Future Self, Invest in Your Future Self. So it's going to be, I'm pulling in cardiologists, nutritionists, bodybuilders, people in all aspects of health and fitness, and kind of making a masterclass on all things wellness that should be coming out later this year. But really just kind of diving into everything and seeing what happens. But at the end of the day, just trying to help out as many people as I can.
It's a lot of content to put together. Yeah.
A lot of content, but it's fun, right? I don't remember what Drake line it was, but it's like the moment I'm done having fun with it. You know what line? Their line?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I can't think of the song, but I'm having fun with it, so I'm just gonna keep it going. And it's been cool. I've met a lot of cool people down this road already. And excited to just see what happens. And again, I started this in 2022. I'm excited to see what my future self is going to look like, feel like in 2042, right?
Yeah.
If this thing does stay alive for another 20 years or whatever it is, what's it look like? It could transform into a podcast or a convention to help people. It could turn into a clothing brand, right? Mm-hmm. Hats look great, by the way. So we'll see. But I'm also down to let the universe take its course, and I'm just going to keep showing up and working hard. See what happens.
2 things about that. So, with the launch of the brand, going back to what you were talking about with the timing of it, like it's kind of perfect, like having been, on this show that has all this reach and all this engagement from all these people. And now you've got this other thing coming as well. That's your own thing. Like, it just seems to work out so well that now you've got like the most eyes on you, really.
It didn't hurt.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't hurt.
It definitely didn't hurt, but it was, that was on my mind too. It's like, I'm going to go on the show, and I hope I fall in love, and I hope I have the best experience. But like, I was building something behind the scenes too, and I was like, you know what? This could turn something. This could, if anything, it's just going to help me connect with more people. Mm-hmm. And that's really the power of social media. So if I can use that to help people, then like it's a positive thing, right? Yeah. People might say like, oh, you only went on the show for this. It's like, no, that was completely different, right? I wasn't there to do anything. It's just really connecting with a wider audience, and it is good timing. Yeah. It's perfect timing. Yeah. And it's something I didn't really want to rush. Mm-hmm. But now it feels like the right time, and I've just been working on it for so long, so I'm excited to just share it with people.
So now when you're because like a lot of what you've done, like you're in front of a camera, essentially teaching people that are, you know, watching you on their phone. Most recently, I saw the post you put out with Pop Sugar.
Yeah.
Right. And so curious about what you have to, like, the kind of space you have to put yourself in to be, you know, essentially, I mean, you're talking to thousands of people potentially, but you're talking to a camera.
Yeah.
You know, so like, are you just imagining like when you're, cause you know, you're at the front of a class, you've done that before, but you are kind of like almost acting a little bit in that sense. So like, are you just imagining like when you're looking at the camera that you're like, are you picturing a person that you're speaking to?
It's a good question. And Leslie Sassone, who started Walk at Home back in the 80s, she's trained me a ton. You know, I've spent hours talking into a camera, teaching a class with the camera not on. You know, I've spent a lot of time doing that. And it does help to envision your audience and think about who you're speaking to, because with the Walk at Home app, a lot of these people are not getting their 8,000 to 10,000 steps in a day. They're not moving at all. A lot of them are, you know, they have type 2 diabetes, heart disease. They're just very unhealthy people. A lot of them are. And that's kind of how I think about it, right? Because Leslie has shown me prior to filming sometimes, like, this is a success story. You know, this is, you know, for example, there was a man named Adam from Wisconsin who lost 120 pounds by walking. And there was a before and after picture. And she's like, this is who you're talking to. This is someone that's working out with you every single day. And you're going to spend the next 20 minutes filming a workout that they're going to watch for maybe the next 5 years. So it's amazing the impact you can have in 20 minutes, put it on the internet, and watch people change their lives just because they're enjoying the workout. They like the way they feel after. So to answer your question, I do think about maybe one or two people because it is talking to them, right? And that's the one part, the downside of it is that you can't talk to them, right?
Yeah.
It'd be nice if you can be like, come on, Adam, and like you can hear them talk back.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's just not the case. But it's I'm hoping with Future Self to kind of create a community that I can kind of open up myself to them too, so I can hear more directly from them and get some feedback too.
Yeah.
So it'll be cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll have testimonials and stories, and I mean, I think they'll come up to the forefront of what you have, like, no matter what you do and put together. But having people be able to cross communicate together too would be like a big help, to just know that, you know, they're relatable on the journey wherever they're at in the journey, because you are fit and you might be on the fittest end of their goal.
Right.
But lots of people are like in between these little, like,
someone's on day
milestones.
1, someone's on day 20,
Yep.
someone's on day 500.
Exactly.
And we never quite get to where we're going, right? There's
Yep.
always going to be someone more fit than you. There's always
Yep.
going to be someone healthier than you, but it does bring you together for
Yeah.
sure. And you can relate to each other because you were through it. You went through it together.
Exactly.
Maybe at different times, but it's all the same thing.
That's what I'm trying to find out at CrossFit. There's other people more fit than me because I'm hurting. I'm hurting after some of those workouts.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, you got to be careful with CrossFit because like your ego gets in the way real quick, especially us because we're ex-athletes too. It's like, I'm fucking stronger than you.
Yep.
And then you get hurt.
Yeah.
And
We had a good workout the other day. That was,
Thursday.
we're both still a little tender from it, and it was Thursday.
Dude, I'm
And
hurting.
Are you? Shoulders?
My chest. It just did a lot. I mean, it was body weight. It was
Oh, wow.
just a 5, 10, 15 pull-ups, push-ups, and squats. Like as many rounds and reps as you can do in 15 minutes. And like that's a very like
Damn.
accessible workout.
Oh,
but
yeah.
for people, and I thought
Everyone
about
at
this
home's like,
after.
yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, right. No,
Let
I mean,
let me
it's-
watch you do it
for sure.
5 minutes.
Yeah. And I thought about this after, but like people like us, like we look at that and we're like, that's so accessible. We've done that before. Like I'm going to send it. And that's exactly what I did. Probably
exactly what I
should have
did
pulled
too.
back a little bit because I wouldn't be so destroyed. I mean, like,
Yeah.
you know, in a good way, but there are, like I've heard even the coaches talk about like people with athletic backgrounds, like you have to almost keep an eye on them and let them know, like you can't redline this. You can't do it every day because people with those mindsets, like they're willing to just let it rip because they know they can, but then that's where you sacrifice like the longevity in it.
For sure. And I'm training for my first half marathon right now, too.
Baby.
Hell yeah.
And it's just a half, right?
Yeah.
But we're
still, that's a lot of,
it's a lot of miles.
yeah.
But I went for I just signed up for like last week. So I went on 2 long runs so far, only 5 miles each, but just to kind of see. And my first one I went on, I'm like, let's just see what my best time could be, right? I woke up the next day, my back hurt, my knees were aching. I'm like, all right, we don't need to go for it.
Yeah.
I ran a 7:45 pace mile, so I'm actually pretty happy about that.
Good, man.
I wanted to throw that out there for everyone. That
Yeah.
sounds pretty, but I'm not a big runner. But to add to that, it's your ego gets in the way, right? You always think you're going to be athlete you were back in the day. As you get older, it's just not the case. Even if you do take care of your body as well as you can.
Yeah. I ran a 5K yesterday. I won my age group running a
Let's go.
7:55 mile pace.
Bang.
3.1 miles. And I got to the end of it and I thought I was like dragging ass the whole time. Then I heard my name called. I was like, they didn't say my name, dude. Cause like running wise, that's not a great time.
Good. Sub 8's so good.
But to do sub 8 for 5, like that's good, especially on your first one out.
I was pretty proud of myself.
Yeah.
Freaking athlete out here.
I don't know about that.
What
That's
marathon
why
are you
you're
going to
above
do?
average.
I'm doing the Pittsburgh half.
Okay.
May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. So I'm going to probably hurt myself and then go get a margarita.
That's coming in hot, dude. Yeah, that's soon.
I know. But so I teach a walk, run, lift here in the Strip District, and we have these really nice techno gym treadmills that, and the classes are awesome because you might run for 2 minutes up a hill, then you'll put the decline all the way down to a 0% incline, and then you might do like 40-second, 20-second sprinting intervals, 20 seconds, and then there's also a sled push option on it too, which is really cool.
Interesting.
Because you can crank up the resistance to like whatever, it goes up to 350 pounds. I'm not doing that, but you can really build up your leg muscles. So I feel like I've been kind of training for a marathon, but I haven't been actually outside running, but I have been running on a tread.
Yeah.
Sleds.
It helps.
Sleds like saved my life, man. Swear to God.
Best.
Oh, you can
Sleds.
really bulletproof your knees that way for sure.
I
100%.
I had a very bad back injury that was like, not like very bad, but it was bad enough that I was like having problems like walking some days, like legitimately. And sleds were interesting because I started to learn about them because you're not compressing on your back. And on top of that, it is significantly harder to, it's not impossible, but it's significantly harder to hurt yourself because if you can't push it, you just can't push it. You either get too tired, but
so true.
If you try to push a wall, you're not going to like necessarily hurt yourself because the wall's not moving. So if it's just too heavy, it's just too heavy. But if you put weight on your back, and it's too heavy, you'll find out at the bottom of the squat that was too heavy. But you can't necessarily push and pull something too heavy because you just won't move. So
true.
I started doing sled pushes really slowly and sled pulls, and that's what strengthened my back up.
3-minute fitness days.
Yep.
Oh, dude,
the ropes
saved me
around the thing.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That's one of the best exercises I think too, especially for your core,
good.
for your core too. When you're like hinging over like that and you're driving your knee up towards your chest, it is so good for your lower abs. And I've noticed aesthetically how stronger my legs are and my abs just from doing more sled. So that's been like my secret sauce recently.
Yeah. So what about you're involved in fitness and you're helping thousands of people. Do you have anything fitness wise that you're chasing, like any fitness goals? I mean, obviously we talked about the marathon, but I mean, what else is in there?
Yeah, I always have something. Right now it's the half marathon. After that, I'm not sure what it's going to be.
Yeah.
You know, I'm fortunate to like have the habit of going to the gym and exercising 5 days a week. I like to take 2 days off a week.
Yeah.
I always like to have a goal, right? And before this, it was to bench 315 pounds, right? So like check that, and then it's like I don't bench for a while. But I always feel like you need to have some goal. And for me, I like what my weight's at, so it's not a weight goal. I'm at 205 right now. I feel strong. I feel light enough that I can go for a run too. But I always like to have some goal to work towards because I think you need one.
Yeah.
You know, if you get into the gym with just, I'm just going to do this, you're just going to do what you usually do and leave, and you're not going to see any progress. So I think it's important to have a goal. I don't think the goal truly matters as long as you have one working towards.
I agree. Yeah.
You agree?
I mean, you got to have, just having something to chase, because otherwise, I mean, to your point, if you go in with no idea of like what your goal is and then how you're going to get there, I mean, it's just easy for things to end up stagnant.
Yeah. And you just get lost.
Yeah. And you lose, it's not
Unmotivated.
fun. Yeah. It's not fun. And then I tell my clients all the time, it seems daunting when you tell people that there's no finish line, especially when they're just getting started, because they're just like, oh, well, I have these goals and I want to hit them, but now you're telling me I got to do this forever. I'm like, yeah, well, that's kind of the whole point.
That's the point,
you
right?
know? But
that's why diets don't work either. It's
yes.
like, you know, it's like, why would you go on a diet for 3 weeks if you're just going to
revert back to old habits?
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, do you want to actually change your life or do you want to change the next month?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just not sustainable at the end of the day. And so we've talked about this on other episodes of just starting slow and stacking small wins.
Yes.
Which
So
are going to
important.
eventually get you to that big milestone that you have. And then you can, kind of like take a minute and be like, okay, I accomplished this. And now what's next?
Right.
One of my clients yesterday started with me back in August, weighing at 380.
Wow.
He's down to about 315, ran his first ever 5K yesterday.
Damn. That's sick.
It was crazy, dude, and I put out this 5K. It was in Elizabeth, little Boston, the bike trail. And I put it out to all my clients, and he was the only other person that signed up. And I was like, I'm going to do this. If anyone wants to join, like, you know, I'll be there. And I said to him, I was like, listen, I'm going to try and PR my time, but I'll come back for you. And so I finished my time. I walked down the trail, and I see him coming. And I finished the last, like, you know, 1 mile with him. Yeah. And I'm just like, dude, you set your pace, whatever you want to do, but we're just going to finish this, like, you know, in a good fashion.
Wow.
And we got through it, and he wanted to finish in an hour. He did it in 45. And like,
nice.
It's just crazy. Like, you know, just seeing him, he's
big win. That's
so
a win.
lit up,
so
lit up by it. Yeah. And he already signed up for another one, like a month from now.
Yeah, you compound that.
Yeah. And it's the feeling, people see that having never done it before, and it's so daunting. And then they see that they can do it, and the whole world opens up. They're like, holy shit, I accomplished something I never
100%.
thought I was going to do. And now there's no ceiling anymore.
100%. And fitness is the avenue for that mindset, I think, for a lot of people. A lot of people. Once you realize, like, that you're not that far away from reaching your goals, you realize, like, I mean, you fucking can do anything.
Yeah.
You really can.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And fitness does allow, for me, it's opened my eyes up to think other things I could do too. But I'm sure you too, Ethan.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a competition coming up at the end of May, so it's gonna be fun.
Nice.
Do you guys like more goal setting, or do you personally like more something that has a competition? So it has that, like, kind of more like a pressure, you know, like a sport competition has more pressure than a goal competition. So what's your preference?
Probably goal, just because I haven't been in a lot of challenges and a lot of races. That's not ever been my thing.
Yeah.
But I respect it.
You respect it?
I respect it.
I miss competing a lot, which is kind of what brought me back to CrossFit. And because in that sense, you're competing every day, whether it's against yourself or against other people. And I'd like to get back into doing that type of stuff. There was just a CrossFit competition like yesterday at a gym in East Liberty, and I didn't know it was happening. I definitely would have done it. But I mean, I think for when you're an adult, like, you have to kind of have goals rather than seek. I mean, if you're not a competition person, you know.
Yeah, and I realized that as I got older. I'm not competitive, actually. I used to think I was competitive because I played sports, but I'm really not. You know, I'm competitive with myself, and that's why I feel like I'm more goal-oriented.
Yeah, fair.
Because that kind of is a goal, I guess,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's a challenge within yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not that competitive a person, so I've never really been drawn to competing in, like, CrossFit games or races or anything like that. It's cool, though. It's definitely, like, a fun challenge to do, but it's just never been, I don't know, not that competitive.
It makes it very different. It's very different. Like, with
I
the
don't care if you beat me.
Yeah,
you can beat me. It's okay.
Yeah,
Like,
I do care if people beat me.
That's good. That's a good. That's like, you got the Mamba mentality that I don't have.
We were at, like, the gym, and I've only been doing CrossFit for like 2 weeks, mind you. And he told me this like months ago, that they put the scores on the whiteboard of the people in the morning. And he told me that it gets in his head about it. He's like, I'm going to beat that guy. And then you start to see people you know on the same board that go at 6:30, and you're going at the noon class or whatever. And he's completely right, because I saw the same thing. I was like, so that girl did 14 rounds with a weighted vest. So I brought my vest because I'm training with the vest. So I'm like 14 rounds. I'm like, that's what I'm doing today. You know, so I made sure to beat it.
That's in your head.
Yeah.
You just gotta, And then, but it's always a reference point too, which is, I mean, even if you don't hit it, you're like, okay, I know now what I can do. And then the next time you do it, like, you have you have that just data to build on.
Okay, so what does that say about us, man? Like, are we crazy? Like, is there something wrong?
Maybe.
Yeah, we're a little crazy.
Everyone's got to be a little crazy.
That's all right.
Yeah.
We were told by 111 that you do like juice, so you must frequent there
I do.
pretty often. Yeah.
This is my favorite one ever. It's really good.
So you were talking to us earlier too, and I don't want to spoil anything that might be coming up, but you have some travel plans coming up. I don't know if they're long-term, short-term, medium-term.
Yeah. So my lease is up here in Pittsburgh in about a month. So have a good living situation out in California and LA. My brother lived out there for about 10 years. So he has an open apartment, and I work remotely right now. So I'm looking to spend the summer in California and soak in the sun and travel a little bit. I love to travel. I've never traveled more than I have the past 2 years. I feel like I've been in a different city or country in like every other week for the past 2 years. So I'm excited to kind of have some roots in California and just kind of jump in and network in the fitness industry. And
It's a place to do it.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be cool. It's a big change of pace from Pittsburgh, but it's something I'm excited about. I've been wanting to not leave Pittsburgh, but just go live in a different city for a while. I graduated from University of Pittsburgh, lived here for a little bit, moved to New York City for about 2 years, and was gonna move to LA back in like 2016ish, 2017. But my mom had gotten cancer at that exact time I was about to go do it, and she's okay now. Like everything's fine. But that's why I came back to Pittsburgh. You know, got a job, dated a girl, got another job, dated another girl, and then there's 7 years. So,
That's like almost exactly what happened to me. I was like, wow, I didn't even like mean to be in Pittsburgh. I moved down here, got a job, dated a girl. Same.
It's a good place to live. It's a really, really good place to live. And it's a good place to raise a family. And in your 20s and like early 30s, there's no better place to like get ahead, you know, and like save money. And it'll always be home for me, but I'm excited to change it up.
And yeah, I mean, it's like the epicenter of fitness stuff and people and gyms out in California just in general. I mean, there's so many good gyms to go out there, like from where you'll be at down to San Diego. Like I've been like 4 or 5 gyms there that are epic. And I'm like, oh man, just
working out outside
at like I like half those gyms easy, you know. It's fantastic. I had frequented when I was like younger, like in high school. I love going down to Venice Beach, which is like definitely have some riffraff.
I was just thinking about Venice Beach.
Really?
Yeah. Like because you walk that trail and like every so many miles they've got the shipping container with barbells and plates in them.
Yep.
Like that's unbelievable.
Yeah. I was in Muscle Beach like a year and a half ago, and one of my favorite fitness Instagram influencers, but he's really a bodybuilder. His name's Joe Andrews. Do you guys know Joe Andrews? He's jacked. He's huge. But, you know, it was a crazy story, actually. I was walking on Venice Boardwalk, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to just go, because on Instagram, he's always lifting at, you know, the outside gym, like Muscle Beach, Gold's Gym. And I was like, I'm just going to go see if Joe Andrews is there. What are the odds? He's lifting. He's the only guy there. So I go dab him up. He's like, you want to get a workout in? I was like, dude, yes. Like this is, dude, more than anything. And then like we took a picture. It's actually on my Instagram too. He's jacked. He's like 240 pounds. He's probably like 5'10", but he's a beast. And we went through a workout together and he's the man. But that whole area is just cool. And it is the epicenter of fitness. And it's, if you're like open-minded like we are and like to connect with people, you meet people pretty quickly, you know.
Yeah.
As long as you're asking questions and telling them a little bit about your story and interested in what they're doing, it's like you do cast a wide net in a city like LA as opposed to Pittsburgh, where it's a little bit more family oriented. Obviously, a lot smaller, and it's you know, people in LA, everyone's doing everything, so it's like you can cast a wider net. Where here it's just like, you know, the fitness industry, as you know, Will, it's small.
It is,
right. There's not too many people that do what you and I do here.
No, I mean, you can kind of like I think about, I see other trainers on social media and like, you just know, you've seen everybody before, even if you haven't met them, you know what they're doing, where they train at, what their thing is. And, there's a few gyms out in California, like that come to mind. There's, guy named Ryan Fisher. He has a Chalk Performance. It's in Orange County. I drove by it when I was there. I didn't go inside. He was a CrossFit Games regionals athlete, I think, and now he has a Chalk Performance, which is like an app similar to what you do, and it's worldwide. And then Bradley Martin has his gym in Woodland Hills. What's it called again?
Young LA.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of his the name of the gym.
Raw something, right?
Raw Gear.
That's his brand, the clothing brand.
What's the gym called?
Zoo.
That's
Zoo.
right.
Yeah. Zoo Culture. Yeah. And that's like the big, like there's that other gym too. It's like the influencer gym. I can't remember it's a massive gym, but everyone in there's got a tripod set up.
Yeah.
And I think Bradley Martin's has become a little bit similar.
It is funny. That's going to be like,
it's going to be different.
It's going to be different, right? Walking into a gym. Because right now, like, I'm nervous about pulling out a tripod at a gym. I don't do it because I'm like, people are going to think I'm a douchebag. Yeah. People are like, no, I'm like, no, it's actually like my business. I'm doing this. I'm not trying to. But out there, it's just like, it's second nature.
Common practice,
everything.
Yeah. And now you got people like Joey Swole.
Yeah.
That guy, like, calling everybody out. You know, they're filming in gyms and stuff. And I mean, I think what he's doing is good. It's needed because there is that, like, this weird level of entitlement with people setting up their tripods in gyms and thinking they own the whole space when, like,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I saw this clip the other day of like this girl who was filming herself doing something in front of the dumbbell rack, and she like told the guy to move that was putting his weights away. Like he had like 90-pound dumbbells. You know, get out of my way if I'm holding 90 pounds, like looking to rack them. And she's like, I'm filming. I'm in the middle of something. Like, she's like,
get out of here.
How dare you?
Yeah.
Like, that is ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. I think that was one that he put up.
It probably was.
Yeah.
Was.
Dude, he like roasted that girl, which I think was definitely deserved.
Yes. You're right. That's exactly who I saw.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Yeah, he'll like call gyms and get people's memberships canceled. Like there was a guy that like
Oh
a
my God,
guy
seriously?
walked past
That's incredible.
this other guy's camera, and the guy that was filming grabbed the guy and threw him out of the way. It was like, I'm trying to film a video. What are you doing? And Joey Swole called the membership, got him wiped from all LA Fitness gyms in the country.
That's funny as hell.
But like, just don't fucking do that shit. You know, like it's
be a good person.
Yeah, I mean, there's other people around. Like,
it's not, all about you.
Yeah, I know what you're saying though. I mean, I have an apartment gym. I've never gone and filmed in there, but I think it is changing. Like people understand now that like that stuff is a part of social media and it's a part of a business and a brand and everything. But you know, you still have to have a level of awareness when you're doing it.
For sure. Yeah, it's not all about you.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you're there with other people. It's a shared space. It's a shared community. So I think some people forget that. But at the end of the day, there's also like a lot of different types of gyms. So that's what's nice about going out there is there is a lot. Like if you wanted to find the Instagram gym, you can find it there. I don't really think you can find it in Pittsburgh. Maybe my apartment. It might be like the closest one.
Yeah, I filmed an Instagram video there.
But like besides that, there's like so many options out there. So like what else are you excited about doing out there? Do you have anything that you're going to do that's different that you haven't done, like surf? Something totally out there that you can do there that you can't do in Pittsburgh.
To be honest, I love to walk. If you live in the Strip District, you're probably going to see me walking at least once or twice a day. So I'm excited to go on hikes out there and just go on different hiking trips and just being outside more. I mean, I don't know if I'll get into surfing. I think it'd be cool, but I don't know if that's me right now. But to be honest, there's so many trails, there's so many mountains to hike out there. Even if driving to like doing like a weekend trip to Yosemite National Park, it's doable from California. You know, you can get to a lot of different landscapes.
Yeah.
Based in LA.
I'm going to Yellowstone end of the month.
Are you?
Yeah.
Sick.
Yellowstone, Grand Teton. It's me and my girlfriend are going. Yeah, it's like a 5-day trip.
I'm third wheeling.
He's saying that you can third wheel.
Yeah. No,
she's a fan of The Bachelor.
Yeah, she is. She'd be stoked about it. But no, there's a Runyon Canyon in was in Beverly Hills, I think. That was the one I did when I was out there. Yeah, it's a very popular one.
Super cool one. Yeah. And where I'm living is right now, or where I'm going to be living is right next to the Griffith Observatory, which is like a super cool hike.
Cool.
Too. And there's just a lot to do out there. But yeah, I'm just excited to just dive in, man. Network as much as I can, be outside, date. I'm excited to date out there. I've only ever really dated here.
Yeah.
And obviously hasn't worked out. Tried to date on a reality TV. That also didn't work out. But it's, I'm just excited just to kind of change it up, man, and see what happens.
Yeah. It's going to be very different.
Yeah.
I think
you guys gonna come out and visit me. Maybe we'll open a gym.
Oh, that'd be cool.
What would we call it?
The three of us.
Great question. What would we call it?
I think that you can come up with something on the spot, Will.
Future Self Studios.
Could do that, yeah.
Future Self Studios?
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, no, that'd be sweet. People ask me all the time if I want to open up a gym. And like,
would you?
Like I would love to have one. Like I think about even like the 3-minute fitness setup. Like that was that would have been a great gym to just make your like headquarters.
Yes.
You know, like that's always been my thing is like if I open a gym,
need
I just
too much space.
No, you don't. Like you just need something small to where you can go in and just kind of like it's like your lab. You just go in and do whatever you want, and then you have other people that can come in and out. But I mean, obviously, with opening a gym, there's so much overhead compared to online training. You know, the online training, the expenses are low, and that's awesome. But then the second you add in a gym, like I want to have all Rogue equipment, and that's super expensive.
Yes.
And so it's
and as you know, as like a real estate investor too, it's a lot of it's out of your control. Like, what if it floods?
Yeah.
What if something breaks?
Rent gets cranked up. Yeah.
What if your landlord sucks? If you don't own the building you like that you lease.
And then location as well. Like I think about Pittsburgh and like there's gyms everywhere. And so then now you're competing with because it's about proximity.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh is a tricky market for a gym.
Yeah.
I even think like the Strip District in Lawrenceville, even though it's bumping and like people are moving here, I don't know where the best place, like if we were to open up a gym in Pittsburgh, I'm not sure where the best place would be to open it at.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough. And like, you know, there's a lot of cool gyms. I was actually just in Atlanta. My brother lives in Atlanta and it's a cool athletic club. It's huge. It's like LA Fitness times 10, you know, it's huge one. And it's got like, it's called Windy Hill Athletic Club. But this gym is so massive, but it's because Atlanta is so spread out.
Yeah.
They can have this giant building, you know, right on the outskirts of town that people come to. But it's cool. I mean, they have 2 full basketball courts. They have indoor, outdoor facilities too. So they have like tires you can flip outside, a whole CrossFit gym outside.
Nice.
They have a whole track that goes around the top.
Wow.
Downstairs they have it's like an Equinox. Like they have,
Yeah, I was just thinking Equinox when you were saying that.
But I don't know if that would work in a Pittsburgh market.
No, I think about if you are going to do it, I feel like it would have to be outside in some
Like the North Hills.
Yeah, somewhere out there, like maybe like a Wexford or just the South Hills maybe. But that's already been done. Like there's already gyms out there, and then it becomes, who are you marketing to?
Right.
Because you've got like the Burn Boot Camp. You've got that's for a certain type of person.
Right.
And then, but if you cast wide, then are you marketing to anybody?
Right.
Like it's hard to cast wide because it's like people will only drive, like most people will drive to gyms that are close. Like how many bridges will you cross to go to a gym? Most people will not cross any.
Going through a tunnel. That's
Exactly. Exactly.
No.
That's for sure.
Going through a tunnel just to get to a gym and you work a 9 to 5, you're like traffic then that probably not happening.
So much time. Yeah.
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 That's why I think a lot of people actually appreciate the online stuff too, because they can pick the gym they want to go to. They have their trainer, and I think the business that you and I are in is only going to grow.
Yeah.
Especially, it grew since COVID, but even just as like this next generation of young kids that are so used to having their phones and everything being digital, they're going to tailor. They definitely aren't as social as we are. We're the last generation to grow up without computers.
Right.
And this next generation coming up, they're going to be used to working with online trainers. They were going to school for an entire year online.
Yep.
That is insane.
Yeah.
It was, I don't think anyone learned anything, but they're used to that. They're used to trying to learn like in that environment. So I think our business is only going to keep growing.
Yeah. I can't wait for that, to be honest, because I have noticed since, I started in 2020 and you still have, like I still run into it now where, people reach out to me and then they're like, oh, where do you train out of? What studio do you have? And I'm like, I don't, it's online. And they're like, oh, no, that's not going to work for me.
Right.
I'm like, well,
and it doesn't work for everybody.
no, I think there is a need for in-person training. Don't get me wrong, but I do think it's a specific thing. Like if someone has a poor movement pattern or like, maybe they're just not comfortable in the environment, then yeah, like you could get some benefit from working with a person, like someone in person. But then after a certain period of time, they just become a rep counter for you. And then it's kind of just that accountability of like, oh, this person's waiting on me, I have to go. But at the same time, you could just cancel, And so with online training, like I'm able to completely create what they're doing all the time. Like I've got influence over, their nutrition, how they're approaching that, what they're doing in the gym every time they go. Where in person, you get that trainer's time for an hour and then that's it. You're on your own for the rest of the hours in the week.
Right.
And so it's way more encompassing. You have way more influence.
Yeah.
And I think
true.
people are going to start learning that. And I do get like the desire to meet with someone in person just
Totally
to
get it.
know them. I understand it. But
with social media, you can connect with your audience.
Yeah.
It's
You
not
can
the
still,
same, but it's close.
Yeah. And I talk to all of my clients every week. I talk to them via Zoom. Some people I meet just randomly out, which is weird, but there still is a level of like, I have a relationship with my clients, and you can do that. And I say that right away when I first meet people, like on a enrollment call. I'm like, I know we might not ever meet, but I'm going to know more about you. You're going to know more about me throughout this entire process. Like we don't need to be in the same place.
Right. Yeah. Completely agree.
That's true. My mom personal trained for like probably 35 years now, probably. She's been a personal trainer way before the internet. She was mostly doing a lot of her stuff. She was a bodybuilder when she was younger, personal trained in person only. She's trying to start an online business. It's hard for her to like understand how to set it up because she just hasn't done it. But she said most people ended up going to her. It was like therapy. It was like she would just talk to them. They would go through a workout, mind you, but they didn't care that they were progressing or not. They'd pay $100 an hour because they were talking to her, and she's very personable. That was really it. So like, there's a different, like, that's just a different person that you wouldn't get as a client because they wouldn't even like try to seek that.
No.
But they still exist.
I
You know?
do get it sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have had those conversations where like it goes beyond fitness. And I'll listen. Like I'll have a conversation. It's fine. But it's interesting to how trainers can become like just an ear for people sometimes.
For sure.
It's fine. It's all connected. So yeah.
It's a holistic help at the end of the day. You know, you help people more than you might think with those conversations. Like I've had those kind of conversations with people. I did not know I impacted them talking to them about fitness. I'm like,
Right.
I don't train you. I haven't even trained with you, but
Yeah.
the way that I perceived it for them was different. And I was like, oh, interesting.
Yeah.
How many times does that happen with you guys? I don't know. It's probably unknown at this point, like
Well,
how much that's stacked.
You know, I've been paying a lot of attention to the studio fitness space just because that's where I'm working right now. And I read a lot of articles coming out about, trends in studio fitness and like how to increase engagement and also increase just people coming back, right? I can't think of the word to come back. Whatever.
Retention.
There it is. So like the client retention, right? And the number one thing is just making them feel connected to you as a trainer. And the more automation you can do in the studio fitness space, the better, is because it gives you more time as a trainer to be like, hey, how's your day today?
Yeah.
How are the kids? What are you looking to do today? We're going to have some fun. It's like, that's what's going to get people coming back more than results they see.
Absolutely.
Because it's like they want to go see you. They want to come hang out with you after work. They want to go get a workout in with you, as opposed to going to this other gym that they don't know their name. Right?
That's true.
So it's to talk about what you were saying. It's like it is important for you to connect with those clients because they're going to feel safe coming to you for their workout just because they like you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think about like 3 Minute Fitness back in the day. There were people that always came to my classes.
Yeah.
And just because I happen to know them a little better and like,
for sure.
I would go talk to them during their workout and and then they would always be back. And I never thought anything of it. I was just like, oh, this is their schedule. But then you start to like realize that they're like, they're making
there for you.
Yeah. They're coming to talk.
They're looking at the schedule. They're like, fuck Tanner. We're not going to that class. We're going to go to Will's class.
Yeah. And I mean, everyone has those like different relationships and like that, if that's what you need, if that's what a person needs to be able to keep doing, like checking the box, fine.
Yeah.
All day.
Yeah.
And it's so rewarding for you as a trainer to think that they're going there for an hour out of their day. They have a lot of shit going on. They want to go spend that hour with you so that they can feel better, so that they can leave that place and go, make dinner for their kids or go on a date with their spouse or whatever they're doing after that. It's you got to think about that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we can get lost in like the process and not think about the impact that we're having as trainers, but there's
100%.
a much larger impact that we have.
Yeah, there's way more depth to it than people want to, like people realize, you you look at personal trainers and you're just like, oh, this is just someone that's more jacked than me that is going to be intimidating or whatever. But there's way more to it on a relationship standpoint that we're doing that you might not directly market about what you're offering.
Right. Yeah. And it's tough to market that, right?
It is.
It's more so just like a trial and error.
Yeah. You can't say like, hey, come be my
I'm
best
change
friend.
your life.
Yeah.
Today.
But, okay, dude.
Yeah. Okay, pal.
Where can people find you for what you're doing in business, personal life, whichever? What's the best platform to hit you up on or follow the journey of your entrepreneurship you're working on?
Yeah, appreciate that. At Tanner Courtad on Instagram is like my personal account. So you guys could always DM me and reach out on there. But at futureself_fit is my Instagram handle for Future Self, and futureselffit.com is going to be launched end of May. So if you guys are looking for any online programs, any follow or on-demand programs, follow along workouts, nutrition plans, let me know. I'm here to help.
Awesome.
So is Will.
So as well, yeah.
We're all in
a
this
couple
together.
of studs in here that train people and change lives. You're both above average, so I appreciate you being on here.
You're above average. You're above average.
We're all above average.
Thanks, boys.
But I appreciate it. And until next time, I don't know who our next guest will even be. I don't even think we've lined it up, but I appreciate everybody being on here, and we'll see you next time.